He threw his pregnant daughter into the streets, but the secret he was hiding would tear the entire family apart 3 years later. The sun over Ukechi village was merciless that afternoon, baking the red earth into cracks. Nkem stood in the middle of the compound, clutching her swollen belly with one hand and a sack of clothes with the other. Her father, Chief Adigwe, loomed over her in his bright striped kaftan, his voice thundering loud enough for the neighbors to hear. "Leave my house this instant, Nkem. You have brought shame to my name." His finger jabbed toward the dusty road. Nkem's lips trembled. "Papa, please. I didn't mean for this to happen. Silence!" he barked, his eyes burning with anger and something else she could not read. "You defied my rules. You lay with a man before marriage, and you refuse to tell me who he is. Pack your things. Today, you stop being my daughter." The neighbors peeked from behind mud walls, whispering. No one dared intervene. In Ukechi, the chief's word was law. Nkem's mother, Mama Ifeoma, stood frozen at the doorway. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, but fear rooted her feet. Her husband's rage was not a storm anyone survived twice. Nkem adjusted the heavy sack on her head and turned toward the bush path. She didn't know where she would go. All she knew was that the child inside her kicked as though sensing the turmoil. The road out of the village seemed longer than usual. Every step raised a puff of dust that clung to her sweaty skin. She had no money, no food, and nowhere safe to sleep. She thought of the baby's father, Kalu, the young apprentice trader who had vanished a month ago without a word. He had promised to marry her, but after their secret meetings ended in her pregnancy, he disappeared like mist under the sun. By nightfall, Nkem reached a small abandoned hut on the edge of Odiu Forest. She collapsed inside, too tired to cry anymore. Crickets sang outside, and the shadows seemed to whisper. That night, she dreamed of her grandmother, Ezen, who had died years ago. In the dream, Ezen's wrinkled face hovered close. "Child, the truth will find you," she said. "But when it comes, you must be brave enough to face it." The world had changed for Nkem. She now lived in the bustling river town of Annika, selling smoked fish by the market square. Her daughter, little Kayamika, was almost 3, bright-eyed, curious, and with an uncanny intelligence for her age. Nkem worked hard, saved every naira, and kept to herself. One market day, as Nkem was arranging her fish, a group of men in fine clothes entered the square. They were bodyguards, clearing the way for a man in a flowing agbada, wealthy, tall, with an air of authority. But when Nkem's eyes met his, her knees almost buckled. It was Kalu. He saw her too and froze. His face drained of color, and for a moment they stared at each other as if seeing ghosts. That evening, Kalu came to her small stall, sending his guards away. "Nkem," he began, voice low, I thought you left the village." "I did," she said flatly. "You vanished, Kalu. Left me with nothing." He looked away, shame flickering in his eyes. "It wasn't what you think. I was forced to leave Ukechi. Your father, he found out about us." Nkem's breath caught. "Papa knew. Then why didn't he?" Kalu's voice hardened. "Because he told me something that broke me. Nkem, he said if I didn't disappear, he would kill me. He said you were not, just his daughter." The word struck her like a slap. "What do you mean?" Kalu's eyes darkened. "He said you were not only his daughter. You were also my sister." Nkem's world tilted. The sound of the busy market faded, replaced by the pounding of her heart. "That's impossible." That night, unable to rest, Nkem left her sleeping daughter with a neighbor and traveled back to Ukechi under the cover of darkness. She needed answers. She found her mother alone by the hearth. Mama Ifeoma's face aged 10 years in a second when she saw her. "Nkem, my child, you shouldn't have come." "Papa said, Kalu is my brother," Nkem whispered. "Is it true?" Mama Ifeoma trembled. It is and it isn't. The explanation spilled out in broken whispers. Years ago, before Mama Ifeoma married Chief Adigwe, she had been in love with another man, Kalu's father. But he died in an accident before she knew she was pregnant. Out of desperation and pressure from her family, she married Chief Adigwe, who agreed to raise the baby as his own, on one condition: the truth would never be told. But Kalu's mother, a different woman, had been a childhood friend of Adigwe's. Years later, when her son Kalu came to Ukechi, Adigwe recognized the resemblance to his late friend and pieced the truth together. Kalu was the son of the same man who fathered Ifeoma's first child, meaning Kalu and Nkem shared no blood at all. Nkem's hands shook. So, he lied to separate us? Mama Ifeoma's voice cracked. Yes, your father was jealous. He feared losing control over you. He would rather destroy your love than see you leave his authority. The next morning, Nkem went to confront her father. Chief Adigwe sat on his wooden throne in the courtyard, surrounded by elders. When he saw her, his eyes narrowed. You dare return? I came for the truth, Nkem said, her voice steady. You told Kalu we were siblings. That was a lie. The elders shifted uncomfortably. Adigwe's jaw tightened. I did what I must to protect my family's honor. Honor? Nkem laughed bitterly. You threw your pregnant daughter into the streets. You let me suffer for years, just to satisfy your pride. The elders murmured. Adigwe's power wavered under their gazes. But then came the twist no one expected. From the side of the courtyard, a little girl ran in Kayamika. She stopped in front of Adigwe, her tiny hands on her hips. Why are you shouting at my mama? She demanded. The courtyard went silent. Adigwe's eyes locked on the child, and something in his face broke. Tears welled up in the eyes of the man who had never cried. Nkem, this child, his voice was hoarse. She is my granddaughter, but she is also my niece. Gasps erupted. Adigwe continued, voice shaking. Kalu is not your brother, but he is my wife's late lover's son, and that man was also my half-brother, which means Kayamika carries both our bloodlines. The weight of the revelation crushed Nkem. The man she had loved was tied to her family in ways she never imagined, through a web of secrets spanning 2 generations. In the weeks that followed, Ukechi village buzzed with gossip. Some urged Nkem to return to Annika and never look back. Others said fate had cursed the family. But Nkem made her own choice. She stayed, not out of forgiveness, but to ensure her daughter grew up knowing the truth. As for Kalu, he visited often, not as a lover, but as the uncle Kayamika adored. Their past could not be undone, but their future could be reshaped. And Chief Adigwe, the proud man, aged faster than the seasons. Some nights, villagers swore they heard him weeping in the dark, calling out the names of the family he had broken with his lies.